All right. Hi, everyone. This is Stolen Homes, the second episode. So if you haven't listened to the first episode, you should definitely go listen to the first episode because they're in chronological order. So it's a series. It'll make sense if you listen from the beginning to the second to the third. So this is the second episode. Hi, Baba.
Hi, Olympia.
Hi. So let's just dive in. We stopped the first episode with you going into the church and telling the priest at the time that the Turks were invading or coming, and you had to stop the service. So that's where we stopped last time, so we can pick up from there. That's probably the best place to pick up from.
Oh, yes. That was a very dark day, and in so many different ways. In my mind, it was a very dark day. We could see the Turkish planes moving from west to east, right behind the church, basically, dropping supplies and probably personnel as well in the parts that were controlled by the Turkish Cypriots at the time. The village that was close to us was called Chados, or Jados. We call it Jados. And and they had a military base there, and so what was happening is that they were strengthening their positions, and we knew that this was not going to go very well because war was already starting. Okay,
Yeah.
The news from the north coast that the Turks were unloading thousands of troops and equipment was coming to us, and as the day went on, there was news that was coming to us about the Turks attacking Kirinya, the city of Kirinya, and attacking nearby villages, and as the day closed, I actually volunteered because I was not yet drafted in the military. I was 17. I was still in school. So the people, the young men that were, all the men that were of age to serve in the military had already gone, and those who were already in the military, of course, were moved around to wherever they thought they should take them.
Yeah.
And so I joined the group of volunteers, about 28 of us. I think it was 28
And
of us.
how old were you at that time? Were you 16 or 17?
No, I was 17.
Yeah.
I was 17. And the others were adults. Some of them were older adults, like in their 40s. Some of them were in their 30s. Anyway, so I went along with them, and we went north toward the Turkish village.
Yeah.
Where we were expecting at some point they would move against us, and so we were kind of providing a deterrent for the Turkish troops from moving against Marathonus.
Right.
And at the same time, we began to have a communication with the regular troops that were moving. By the next day, okay, they moved in from the west, and finally that village was attacked by us, and our troops took over. But in the meantime, this now is Saturday, the 20th. There is no movement of troops yet. We just go out there and we basically take positions in a place that was an abandoned house, and we set up some of the equipment that they brought in, some of the machine guns and things that the soldiers
This was
brought
like
in.
the second day?
This is the first day. We're
day?
still on the first day, okay?
Yeah.
And so we're about 700 yards from the Turkish
Oh, wow.
the Turkish positions.
Yeah.
They had not moved at all, and we had come close to them.
Okay.
And and it was quiet. It was very quiet. There was no fighting yet. There was nothing happening. And that night, we stayed in that place, which was in the fields. And the only position that could protect us were some caves into the ground.
Yeah.
And the little house a small little house. There was like one room, and there was a window, and our people had one machine gun, one major machine gun. It was a brand machine gun, and they positioned it in that window, and they were planning to use that as a position for confronting the Turks if they moved in our direction. So about 28 of us, as I said, were kind of spread out and were watching. I didn't have a weapon. I was not given a gun because I was not trained, and and I was basically responsible to pass messages from from the one side to the other, because we spread out in a line along in the trees, and we took positions in the ground, basically just watching to see if the Turks will move.
What were Yaya and Bapu doing during that time? Did they even know you were doing that?
No, I did not tell them anything. I had no idea. Yeah. They had no idea where I was. I mean, I just got out and went, and Yaya was at home, my mother was at home, my sister was at home, my younger brother was at home.
And they knew?
And nobody knew where I was, really. I mean, I told them I'm going with these guys, but they had no idea that I was going to be...
But they knew that the Turks were coming closer and closer, but they just didn't know where you were specifically.
Oh, yes. I mean, everybody knew because the line of planes, cargo planes, coming one after the other. It was it was every 2 minutes there would be another plane dropping things in the northern part of where the village was, which was the area that was controlled by the Turks at the time. And so everybody knew what was happening, right? But nobody knew what to do. Okay, except the guys that were draftable, and they were in the National Guard, and they were part of they were called in. They had left, and those of us left behind, we were trying to do something to help out, okay, just in case we were attacked. Right. So this is the first day, and that night I was out with the group of 28. We were out in the fields close to the Turks, about 700 yards away from the military installation that they had. And we were hiding in the trees, and in that little house we had that machine gun. The adults that were with me, they all had a rifle or something, a pistol or something. I did not have anything, but I was helping the guy with the machine gun, so I was bringing supplies to him. Basically, I was his support, his second hand. Anyway, so the evening comes, and of course, we don't know if we're going to be attacked. So we are in the fields, we are in the trees, we are in that little house. And as the night went on, we had to get some sleep, and we had to kind of decide who goes first to sleep and who keeps guard, and because we didn't want to be caught all asleep if the Turks came at night. So now this is interesting, because now, as I said, I was not trained, so the others had some training. The only gun I ever had in my hands was my father's shotgun, which he went to. He would go to hunting with it, and I would accompany him with that. And I think I used it once or twice in that. But that's about it. I didn't have any training. So, but I needed to keep guard because the other guys had to also get some sleep. And so they decided that I should keep guard from like 1 to 3. 1 in the early in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Somebody decided. There was somebody in charge. There was one of the 28. There were a couple of them that were agreeing on what to do. And so they gave me a shotgun. Okay. And they set me somewhere, and they said, "You're gonna stay right here and watch in that direction where we're expecting the Turks may come.
Oh my gosh.
And if you hear anything, you let us know. Here is your shotgun, so you can shoot if you have to."
Oh my goodness.
But if you shoot, you're betraying your position, so be careful.
What do you mean you're betraying your position?
Well, I mean, if you fire your weapon in the dark, they know exactly where you are. They can see you.
Literally betraying your position.
So instead of shooting, let us know, wake us up, kind of call out.
Let us know,
Let us know, so that we can all wake up and take action together. Anyway, so it was a tough 2 hours because I had no place to hide.
Yeah.
All right, I just sat on the ground in a field that had been plowed, so it was very uneven and very uncomfortable. And and I was there for 2 hours, and it's the first time that I can tell you that my heart pounced.
Yeah.
Because the danger is imminent. I mean, you don't know who's
going to show up.
Show up.
Yeah.
As I said, the military base of the Turks was about 700 yards away.
Right.
I mean, we were really crazy in a way to be out there because, I mean, if they had really well-trained commandos or whatever, they could send them and just take us all out. But nothing happened. 2 hours went by. Somebody else took my place, and then I went and found tried to find a comfortable place to sleep for the rest of the time until the sun came out. And and I took a couple of hours nap, and then
did you sleep outside, or did you find
on the ground? There was no.
You just slept outside.
We had no gear of any sort. I mean, we had no blankets. We had nothing. We were just in our plain clothes, mostly. I mean, except for a couple of the guys, the rest of us were in civilian clothing.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we didn't. We're not military personnel. Anyway, so.
Wow.
But I was there, and then the next day was mayhem. The next day was really.
Is this
This is Sunday now, the 21st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sunday the 21st.
Yeah, of July.
Of July
1974.
Yeah,
yes.
And we woke up in the morning. There was no action, but then we got communication that our troops were heading in the direction of this Turkish village from the west.
Okay.
We were in the south side of the town, of the village, and they were coming from the west. And we were to basically call the attention of the Turks in our direction, so that they would be more able to kind of move in without being attacked. Okay, so our group began to use every weapon we had, which was just a few rifles and the Bren machine gun, which was a Second World War weapon.
Yeah.
And my job was to bring ammunition to the Bren man. Okay, we call him Bren. He was a tall guy, and he was quite strong, and so he took that Bren and placed it on that window and put something underneath and stepped on it, and I kept bringing him ammunition, and preparing the ammunition and giving him the equipment to plug into his
to his weapon.
His weapon, yeah. So I did that for hours because what we did is that basically we fired everything we had on that military installation.
Okay.
So that we can give them the impression that there was a force coming from our direction. But we're only 28 people.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, right about 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock in the morning, okay, after we started shooting at them, okay.
And you don't know if you hit anybody? Or just in
No,
their
we have-
direction,
yeah,
probably.
we're shooting in that direction. So
Yeah.
I mean,
How would you know?
we
How would
wouldn't
that
know,
even
and we
happen?
couldn't see. We couldn't really see.
Gotcha.
The only guy that could probably see something was the guy that was at the window,
Who had?
the Brent gun,
Yeah.
and he was pointing the fire toward specific targets in that area.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
you know, from a distance of 700 yards, that spreads out. So
Yeah.
it would probably the fire, the bullets spread out quite widely in a wide space over that
Yeah.
installation, the Turkish installation, and I mean the Turks would be crazy if they stood in the way. You know, it's like everybody took their place, they took their position, protecting
Right.
themselves.
Right.
They did not shoot back at us.
Okay.
Okay, that was the interesting thing. We did not get fired for like 2 hours. Nobody shot at us, and then suddenly
Oh no.
planes begin to come.
Oh no.
So they called in the Air Force, the Turkish Air Force. All these F-16s started coming
wow.
down. They came from Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, they would go over the mountain,
Yeah.
the Daktylos mountain, and they would just dive into our positions,
Oh my gosh.
shooting with all their machine guns they have in the front.
Okay.
And then as they lifted themselves up, they will drop bombs, rockets, anything you can imagine. But that would be at Marathovonos. So we were very close to the Turkish position. So
Were you outside the town when you talk about like logistically where you were? Were you right outside the town, or were you still within the town, what you would call Marathon?
no, we're outside Marathovonos, about a mile away from
Okay.
the first houses.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're like 700 yards away from the
From
Turkish,
them, yeah.
Turkish military base. So,
Wow.
so the planes, these F-16s would just fly over the mountain. They'd come, dive right over us, and as they came, they would be shooting.
I can imagine
with
it.
their-
Like,
with
yeah.
with their machine guns that they have in the front.
As they're
of the planes.
dipping down closer to you.
Yes.
And then when they're going up, they're going closer to Marathovonos and
That's
dropping
correct.
bombs there.
So they knew where we were.
Yeah.
So they
Totally aware
Yeah,
of where
yeah,
you
yeah.
were.
So
That's
we
crazy.
just, what we did after the first one came, I mean, we're all scared. And
Of course, yeah.
everything stopped.
Yeah.
And we were looking for a hole to get in, you know, it's like,
Did anybody get hurt? Did nobody get hurt?
well, no one got hurt.
That's amazing.
And that's the amazing
How is
thing.
that possible?
Yeah, no one.
That is
None
a
of us
little
got,
miracle in the middle of that chaos
None of us
that
got
none
hurt.
of you got hurt.
yeah. Because they didn't really know exactly where we were. They couldn't see us. We're in the trees.
Yeah, but
we're
still,
spread
still.
out. But you could hear the bullets hitting the ground.
Oh my god.
And I remember one of my cousins, Yorgos, he passed out. He was so scared he passed out, yeah.
Wow.
And we had to revive him, and
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
and,
just leave him.
yeah, he passed out because there were others that were not of age to be in the military, so
Oh my god.
they were all with us. Anyway, so
I've never heard this part ever.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is okay. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
never talked about this before.
This
so
is very
it's-
specific, so
yeah,
we've
yeah.
never talked about that very specific part. Anyway, continue.
So the first wave came and went of planes shooting at us, and then we didn't know exactly what was happening. We could hear big explosions coming from the direction of
Right.
Marathovonos, of our
Yeah.
village, but we didn't know what happened until after all of this finished. Then we went back. Okay,
Okay.
the third day. So
So you stayed in that same location for that whole day?
we stayed in the same location the entire day,
Okay.
and then we got up again and we shot at them for another 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
The planes came one more time, and
Oh my
they
gosh.
just, showered us
The
with
same
bullets,
thing, yeah.
and then went and dropped whatever they dropped on
And
Marathovonos,
still they didn't kill any of you.
and still didn't hurt anyone.
Wow.
Okay, no one was hurt from all of this. The 3 days, the
Even
2 days
in,
of fighting,
What about in Marathovonos, even with the bombs? Were there any?
nobody was hurt.
What? That is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
They were not targeting specific. They were not targeting people. Bombs fell on homes or in the backyards.
Right.
And when I went back,
Yeah. The next day, the third day.
the third day in the evening, when after everything finished,
Mm.
and there was I guess a truce. The Turks declared truce, so they stopped shooting at us.
Huh.
Anyway, so after I went home, I realized that a napalm bomb had fallen in our backyard.
Yeah.
And the only people in the house at the time was Yaya and Thea Varvara. Thea Varvara was 11 years old. So
yeah, she was little.
So my sister and my mother were the only two. My father was out helping somewhere as well, like I was.
Okay.
And Eva Stelios, who was 15 at the time, he was helping somewhere.
That's the younger brother. Yeah.
Yeah. He was somewhere helping, and I don't know the details, but because they were not with me, so I don't know exactly.
I wonder what their perspective is too.
Yeah, but Thea Varvara was alone with her mother, with my mother, and when the bomb fell in the napalm bomb fell in the backyard, I mean the explosion was tremendous.
Well, of course. Were they in the bomb shelter?
No, there was no bomb shelter. We had nothing at this point.
How did nothing hurt them?
Well, we didn't expect anything like this.
I mean, like, how did nothing hurt them? Like,
okay.
It's just amazing how they...
Yes, it's amazing. Well, the napalm bomb is basically sets things on fire.
Okay.
So it breaks open and spreads this very flammable material which catches fire. Okay. And so it burned everything in the backyard that was flammable. So all the... Papu had all these trunks of trees that he was working on and making whatever wooden things, and everything got burned. The entire thing was burnt.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But it was far enough from the house so that the house was safe, and it didn't fall on the house. Otherwise, both the eyes.
That would have been horrible.
Anyway, so we didn't know any of these. We were at the front, so. And that was probably the safest place to be because...
I was going to say, you probably would have been safer if you were there, but anyway.
Okay, so we continued to basically fire at them at their positions.
Okay.
Until the end of the day. And the planes just came 3 times, and they did whatever they did. Nobody died, and we were still there. So the night comes again, and everything stops. In the meantime, we're told that our troops are coming from the west, so we need to remain in that position so that we can divert the attention of the Turkish military to our position, so that it will make it easier for the regular troops to come from the west. And we obeyed the directive.
Right.
We remained there, and so had to sleep again that night and keep guard that night.
What day was this now?
And this was Sunday night, the 21st.
So this is, man.
The second day.
I'm getting the days mixed up. Yeah, okay, so we're still on the second day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, again, we didn't, again, my time to keep guard was like...
Some random time in the middle of the night.
1 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I was given again a shotgun. And then again I had to find a place to kind of position myself.
Yeah.
I sat down on the ground in the dry soil.
Yeah.
Was plowed, freshly plowed, and I kept my eyes in the 180 degree kind of direction.
Yeah.
On all sides, toward the where the Turks could probably come from if they decided to come and confront us. But they chose not to. So the morning comes again, and we start shooting at them again, and the planes come again. And
every time you guys start, they're like, "Okay, we're gonna go." Oh my god!
The whole thing is repeated.
Oh my gosh, that is
then
crazy.
We realize. That our troops had arrived from the west. Why? Because we see them shooting at the Turkish village from the west. We see the explosions. They use some powerful cannon kind of...
We had that?
Yeah, they called them bao.
Interesting.
They would shoot a shell. Wherever it hit, it will explode and destroy everything. So,
wow.
Anyway, I don't know the names in English. I was never...
We didn't go through
the interesting thing is when I went into the military after I finished school, I was trained on those things.
Yeah. Later on,
later on.
Years later, yeah.
And I was trained also on the Browning machine guns, which we didn't have at the time. But all right, let me finish the story of the third day, because that was very important. Okay. What we did that day was the assault on the Turkish positions was from both directions, from our direction and the west, and it was relentless, and it went on for hours.
Oh my gosh.
Until about probably, I don't remember what time, but I think it was later in the day, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Towards the Turks.
Yes,
No.
yes. So our troops moved in from the west, and at some point we were given the signal to move in as well.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a huge, okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So we moved in, and we had the guys with the rifles and the guys with the machine gun
Yeah.
will move ahead of me, for example, and they will move just a few yards. They take a position, start shooting, and I will follow them. While they're shooting, I will
Moving
lift
forward.
myself up and move
Mm-hmm.
forward to their position and bring the supplies, and then they will stand up again and run for another 10 yards, and then they fall down and they start shooting again, and then I will follow them and
my gosh.
catch up with them.
So this went on for hours.
So this went on for hours, probably around 2 or 3 o'clock. I don't remember the exact times now. It's been such a long
That's
time.
okay.
We arrived, basically entered the Turkish village from the south.
Oh my gosh.
And we found out, and our army had already entered from the west. The regular troops. And we found out, and we all moved into the military base.
Okay.
And we found out that the Turks had pulled out earlier that morning. They pulled out of the military base. They pulled out of all the village homes, and left very little behind. And the place was absolutely empty.
Wow.
So we went in. I remember I went into the first thing we did was we went to the flagpole, and we brought down the Turkish flag,
Of course, yeah.
and we raised the Greek flag. So I was there
Oh wow.
when we raised the Greek flag on the
a crazy
pole.
memory. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the people.
And I took the Turkish flag.
You did?
Yes, I took it home.
What?
Yes.
They let you take it, the little 16-year-old, 17-year-old?
Yep.
Wow. Do you know where it is?
Well, I'm the one who brought it down. So
Okay.
I folded it.
Do you know where it is?
I knew where it was, but it's not there anymore.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
a silly question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get back to that later.
What I
That's
also
very
did is that
interesting.
what I also did is that I wrote all the names of the ones that were in that 28 group,
Okay.
28-person group on that flag.
Oh my goodness.
And then, of course, I
What?
left it behind. So if the Turks found it, they found our names on it.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Wow. Okay, fun facts.
So
Interesting.
we're telling the whole world now.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, that's the truth.
So
that's
we
what happened.
lowered the
so-
flag. We lowered the Turkish flag, and then we went into the barracks,
Yeah.
the soldiers' barracks, and there was nothing. There were no weapons. There was nothing. They left nothing.
So I'm confused. The village that you went into, the Turkish village. So that wasn't like a Turkish military base. That was a village where like normal people lived.
Yes.
Okay.
But there was a military base at the edge of the village
Oh,
toward Marathognos.
Oh, okay. So that's who you were targeting, not
Yeah.
necessarily the villagers
No,
themselves.
no.
But when you arrived, there was nothing in the barracks there either, or the actual village with
Yes,
people.
everybody left. What they did is that they
Interesting.
pulled back into the mountains,
Okay.
the Bendadaktylos mountains,
Yeah.
and I don't know where they went, and,
I mean,
and to find protection. And
So probably none of them were harmed.
I assume so. I hope so. I mean, I don't. We
We
were
don't
not,
know, though.
Yeah, we have no
Yeah,
idea.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
We have no idea. But
Hopefully
I
nobody
mean,
was harmed.
it was a very difficult time. It was a very difficult time. I'll tell you. The other thing I want to tell you is that when you are at war and you are in this, you must be in a mentality.
A certain mentality.
A certain
To
mentality.
like survive.
To survive and also to actually be effective as a soldier.
Yeah.
And I know how that is.
Yeah.
since that day. It was that day. It was that day that the news came to us that one of our friends was killed at another front.
Not near Marathonas, but somewhere else.
Somewhere else. One of the Marathonas people, one of the friends we had, he was older, he was in his late 20s. But
young though, but yeah.
Yeah, he was young. He was part of the young adult group of, Marathonas. And he was a very good person, And the news came that he died. That
same day?
Yes. That morning.
Oh, before you went in with the
that morning.
Well, that would have also caused some intense feelings, I feel like, too.
Well, that's what happened. That caused intense feelings. And that is the most dangerous thing that can happen to a person. Because those intense feelings can translate into killing of others in revenge for the loss of a friend.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I thank God that we didn't find any people when we entered, because I don't know how that would have gone. Okay?
Yeah.
Because everybody in the group was so full of anger and frustration and wanting revenge for the death of our friend, that it would have been very difficult if we encountered people. And God protected us, I think, from doing something stupid like that.
For sure. Yeah.
And for me, God protected me from killing anybody, because
you wouldn't be able to be a priest if you killed somebody. I wouldn't be able to be a priest.
Yeah. So it's
very true.
Yeah. And I never used any weapon to shoot at them.
Yeah, you happened
throughout the entire thing.
Right.
I was just assisting the others, and bringing back and forth water and other things and food that people would send us, and so it was really a big operation. It was not a small thing, because we were there for 3 days and we needed supplies. So people would bring the supplies to a certain point. I would pick them up, and I would be running from place to place, hiding, kind of making small moves and bringing the stuff closer to the group so that they can have
whatever they
water,
need to have,
food, and ammunition that was useful for this day. So, but I do thank God that I didn't have to kill anybody, because
that in itself is a miracle too, because that would have changed your.
It would change my life. No, it changes your life. It changes your way of thinking. It changes your way.
It changes everything.
Yeah, it changes everything.
It changes everything.
The taste of blood is a horrible thing for anyone to taste. In that sense of killing someone.
So when you walked into the place,
so we came into the military base, and it was empty, and we went up to the flag, and we brought the flag down. And
wrote the names down, folded it up.
Well, I didn't write the names down until later, but I folded it respectfully.
Yes, okay? That's nice.
And carried it all the way back. And brought it home.
Wow.
And it was my, I guess, my trophy. It was my trophy.
Did you give it to Yaya? Did you hand it to Yaya?
Did you say anything? I told them, I showed them the flag, and
Were they upset with you?
No, why would they be upset?
Well, because you were like basically in the front lines in a certain area, so
no,
wouldn't
everybody. This is life. This is how.
That's how it was.
That's how you.
So that was expected.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you don't hide.
Theodoros too, right? He was also somewhere else.
He was in Amokostos. He was in the regular army. Yeah,
the older brother.
Yeah.
The
Stelios was younger, so he was in the back somewhere. I don't know exactly where he was.
But so that was expected. Like Yaya understood that you guys would be in different places, because even Bapu was somewhere else too.
Yeah.
Man. So that was expected or understood that was happening.
Yeah.
It
was. I mean, what are you going to do? Stay home and hide?
I know exactly.
Yeah. So at least we were there,
trying
to do something to protect the women and children and the old people who are behind you.
Yeah.
Because
if
the Turkish troops would have advanced in our direction, we would have resisted.
Right.
Now, if they threw a lot of troops on us, we're only 28 people.
That's true.
So it would have been really...
In that one group, yeah.
If they knew how many people we were, they would have attacked us.
Yeah.
But...
Because you're such a small
They
group.
could, and their plan was to pull back until the entire army, the Turkish army, is ready to attack and take the island over. It was not. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't worry about the 28 people, the one village. They were waiting for the right time to do what they wanted to do. The plan was big plan, and
but you didn't know that at the time.
We had no idea what they were planning. But
yeah, you didn't understand that at the time.
Yeah. But we were doing whatever we thought it was the right thing at the time, and we had a little bit of direction, but not much.
Right.
And we had a little bit of communication with the main troops, which wanted us to divert the attention of the Turks toward our direction, and the planes too, because the planes came to us, and they didn't attack the regular army that was coming from the other side.
Oh wow!
So we were really severely attacked. I mean, wave of planes after wave of planes after wave of planes. 3 or 4 times on Sunday, and 3 or 4 times on Monday. They just bombarded us like crazy. But nobody died, and that's amazing again. So by the end of the day, this is Monday now, okay? Monday the 22nd.
Okay.
I was back Monday the 22nd of 1974. I was back home.
Yes.
Because we had entered the village, the Turkish village.
Nothing was there.
Yeah, we didn't go into the village. I didn't care to go into people's homes, but we went into the base.
That's good.
And then the army came and kind of went through and kind of secured the place, and they stationed themselves there, and they were stationed there for the next few weeks, the next 3 weeks.
How was it seeing an empty village, like walking in and there's no life there? Did that feel weird?
It did feel weird, but it felt safe too, because
okay.
we were very careful.
That's true.
We were also very careful because we didn't know if somebody stayed behind and would try to shoot us.
Yeah.
We were scared, really. We walked in scared.
Yeah. So you didn't want to poke around people's homes.
I didn't care to do that, but because the army had already arrived and we encountered them, so we went into the military base first before the regular army came. That's why I was the one who brought the flag down.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we were the first ones to enter.
Okay.
And then, as we waited around and kind of went through the military base and went through the barracks and looked for anything that might be valuable, like a weapon or something, we found little things like a flashlight or whatever.
Yeah.
So I took the flashlight. I found the flashlight, brought it back. It was a nice military flashlight, like a NATO issued military.
Interesting.
Yeah, flashlight.
Okay. All right.
Because the Turks get all of their weapons from NATO and from the United States, so.
I know. Yeah.
So we returned.
Home.
We walked back. We were a mile and a half away, so we kind of walked back.
Yeah. Well, how else were you going to get there? But yes, of course.
We walked back. And I went home, and my mother and my sister were so scared. They were shaking. They were especially Varvara. She was so young.
Yeah.
And then I went to the backyard and found out
the bomb.
What happened. And the shell of the bomb was still there. It was a napalm bomb that the American troops used in Vietnam.
Yeah.
To burn entire areas of forests so they can clear out, because the Viet Cong were hiding in the forests. And anyway, so
it was the same.
So the Turks had these weapons from the United States. So I went into the backyard and I found the shell, and on the shell it said U.S. Air Force.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
So then we went out in other places and we found the places where the rockets fell. They shot rockets at the village, and none of them hit the house.
That is crazy.
But they will create these craters, these huge craters.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And still nobody was.
And nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt. What? Yeah. That's amazing. Nobody was injured at all.
And they had dropped bombs and fired rockets all over. Okay, everywhere. There were big craters from the rockets, and there were bombs that hit all kinds of things. But not a single home was hit, actually. It was in the yards, in the front, in the back,
nothing.
Empty spaces. And
do you think that was done on purpose?
And the church was not hit either.
Oh.
which was very interesting because the church sits at the top of the hill.
Yeah, everyone can see it too.
But at this point, it was not touched.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
To do what?
To purposely not hit? Because you would think that they would know how to aim if they really wanted to hit the homes. Do you think that was like a strategic thing? Do we even know?
Maybe it was a strategic thing to scare us so that we can leave.
So you would just go?
Because they wanted that part of the island, and they wanted us to get out anyway, which we did eventually, but it wasn't until 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
But yes, it's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But that accuracy of
I mean,
dropping the napalm bomb in the yard instead of on the house. I mean, we're talking about a few yards away. It's not a...
Yeah, right.
The accuracy
How would they know that?
of the rocket falling in front of the house instead of on the house. Maybe they missed the house. I don't know. Maybe they just did it randomly and didn't care.
But still, even then, you would think like by chance it would hit a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it still didn't. That's a miracle to me. I think that's a miracle because that's amazing that it didn't hurt anybody. Other than your minds, like you guys at that point were not at peace. You're scared. You didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and also in the fields, when they dived down and kind of shot at us with their machine guns, they, all of that just missed us.
I mean,
that was amazing. Nobody was killed.
Life.
Nobody was even not a scratch.
Nothing
except for my cousin who was he passed out. He was so.
Yeah. It scared him.
Yeah, he scared him.
Of course, I would have passed out.
He was a kid.
too.
He was a kid. He was my age. He was a year older than me.
Well, it's not like you grow up thinking I'm going to prepare for war one day. Like you're not growing up. There's nothing. No, you're not prepared for those kinds of things.
Yeah,
so of course you're going to get scared and pass out.
No, but I think you would think that you were brave or whatever. We were all scared. I mean, we walked into the Turkish military base feeling where is going to come. Where are they going to come at us now from?
Oh my God, yeah.
Where from are they coming?
What an intense
or would they shoot at us or whatever? And we were very careful as we approached.
Right.
But once we were up and we're standing and walking through the base,
you're totally exposed.
Yeah, you're totally exposed.
Anybody could have been there and hurt you.
Of course, they, as I said, they executed a plan that was more, let's pull back, let them have it for now because we're going to get it back later. And that's what they did because the plan was to take everything back later, so they didn't care. So they pulled all their people out to not have any victims, any injuries or whatever.
Yeah. And
then when the time came, they came back and they took everything. So it was very, it was a big relief for me to get back home.
Yeah.
It was a big relief because of the way we survived for 3 days, hardly surviving.
Yeah.
But it was also, there was an exhilarating thing about it that because you are in the middle of something that your adrenaline rises and you kind of, and we were ready to die. At some point, we were ready to die.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We had no qualms about that. We were ready to give our lives for our country.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is a very special feeling that you don't get it all the time. It's not very easy to get it. It was a very special feeling.
Yeah.
Which I know what it is. And then the anger and the revenge part, which was very dangerous. And it goes again with the adrenaline and the desire to die for your country, and that is very dangerous because then you can become very violent.
Yeah.
Through that. And we have cases, and you will study in the Vietnam, the village where the soldiers went in and they killed everybody, and nobody understands why they did because they were not a threat.
It's exactly what you're talking about. We already studied it.
Yeah.
We already studied it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't know of that when that happened to us. Mm-hmm. But we were in that mode.
Yeah.
I realized when I read the story later.
Just rage.
Yeah, when I was taking psychology and I learned of that story later.
Yeah.
I realized we were in that mode. We could go in and we would kill everything and anything that was in the way.
Yeah.
And that is a very.
That's how strong your emotions can
awful,
get.
awful situation for a human being to be in.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're not you're just angry. You're rage. You're enraged.
At that moment, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
But later, if you were to do something and you look back, you would be horrified at yourself.
At what you did.
Yeah.
And what you were capable of doing. Yeah. So when you...
So I had the feeling. I had that understanding.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time how horrible it was until much later, and especially after I started learning about
studying that
behaviors and things like that. And
realize what that was and like what it gives you power to do things that people should not do. So when you went home and you saw Yaya and you saw Thea, and at that point you guys stayed at home, there was nothing really going on at that point.
After we entered into the Turkish village, we learned that the Turkey declared truce.
Okay.
And they were calling for the Greek Cypriots and the government of Greece to sit down and negotiate.
Okay.
Okay, so beginning on the 22nd, they stopped the fighting everywhere, and they decided to sit down and negotiate.
Okay. So you were home during that time.
So we went home that night on the 22nd, but we were not trusting, of course.
Well, yeah.
So, and because of what happened with the napalm bomb that fell in our backyard, we, the adults, we decided that we were not adults. My father led the family to dig a prochoma, we called it,
bomb shelter?
Like a bomb shelter, yeah. But not a heavy-duty one.
Right. Just something
just
to
dig a
protect
hole.
you.
And we covered it with wooden logs, whatever was left from the fire.
Oh my God.
And then we put soil over it. So if a bomb fell close by and exploded, it would protect you. But if a bomb fell on you, there was no protection.
Yeah.
So it was really a makeshift kind of bunker.
That you guys made together?
We dug it ourselves. So the next 3 or 4 or 5 days, we were digging and creating that. Big enough to contain, all of us, and to have, 5 of us, and to have some supplies like a little bread, a little food, a little water, and that's
or 6 of you, 4 or 5, 6,
and that's where the family ended up when the Turks came in the second round.
Yeah,
which started on August 14th.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about...
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. Because they sought... Because the planes were flying over the town, they sought kind of protection in that, and I almost left them behind. And that's the story I'm going to tell you the next time. Okay.
So that will be the next episode. Yeah. That's I have never heard that story before. Quite that. I don't think you've ever talked about, there was no reason for me to really ask you specifically. Yeah. And why would you technically bring up those things? You've given like little tidbits growing up about the feeling of, being upset, like anger, kind of the ability of humanity to go, on the other side. But we've never talked about it in detail like that. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's heavy. Was that the only person that you found out when you came back home that was a casualty that had passed away during that time? Or did you know that there were a few people during the first few days that had passed away in the front line somewhere else?
Yeah.
Or was he the
that
only
was
one?
The first one.
Okay.
And we were already, we were on the front line when we learned that he had died.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. That's the first one.
Okay.
We didn't hear of anybody else dying until we returned home. And then the news started coming. And there were several people. There was another young man who was my age, but he was in the military already because he was in school. And we're very close friends. And he was killed as well.
Okay.
I don't remember where exactly he was killed right now, but
But there were several. There were several that you guys knew.
Yeah. Yes. We had... I think during this first phase of the invasion, we had from Marathopoulos probably 7 people who died.
Did you do any funerals? Were there any funerals done during that time?
Yes.
So did you feel like you could mourn during that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's...
Because that would have, to me, I feel like that would have been hard.
Well, it was part of the next 3 weeks. It was the facing the reality of what happened and mourning for those who died.
Yeah.
Burying them. And it was a very difficult time.
And did the priest at that time, I forgot his name now.
Father Kyriakos.
Yeah. Did he was the one who did the funerals?
Yeah.
So it kind of not went back to normal. Obviously, there's nothing normal about that. But I mean, it almost gave you a false sense that maybe we'll be okay.
Yeah.
We'll get through this kind of thing. Yeah.
We never imagined that we would leave our homes.
Permanently. We never thought that would happen.
We never imagined, okay? Even when it was happening, I could not believe it.
Jeez.
Okay? I could not believe that those were Turkish tanks and they were able to actually come in our way.
That's crazy.
And that we had to go. Okay? I never imagined that. Even when I was seeing it happening in front of me, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I could never believe that those who were able to stop Turkey from doing that did not stop Turkey from doing that. I still cannot believe that they actually allowed them to commit such a great crime. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay.
Enough for today. Yeah.
That's really sad. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's close the podcast for the day.
Yeah, I think we're done now.
All right.
Okay, so we'll come back to the third episode.
Yeah, we'll come back. The third episode
maybe
will be
next week. But the third episode will be like the permanent, like walking away from home, even though you didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And like how long that lasted and like what happened after that. Okay. Well, we will continue next time. Sorry for the crying. And yeah.